We'll get Nedum's opinion in a minute because there is Arsenal. Obviously, they dropped points against Brentford yesterday. Manchester City closing in on them as it stands. But Julian Laurent is not worried. Yesterday, he told us he had no concerns whatsoever.
Oh, go home, you know.
With your Arsenal ways, Jacarez is great. Are you worried?
No, and I don't think anybody should be worried. Why would you be worried for?
4 points, Jules.
But 4 points, it could well be 6, not this weekend because the FA Cup, but the following weekend. Or, you know, it could go up to more than that, or it could stay at 4. And, you know, City will have to play Brentford. Okay, be at the Etihad, but they will still have to play Brentford. City are not going to win every single game between now and the end of the season. Neither will Arsenal.
He's
worried. No, I'm not worried. I promise you.
That's too much. Where is your bishop on the board?
I don't understand why you would say they're worried. 4 points.
Look, see, your voice is gone high, you're talking quicker, Jules, you can feel it.
Because I'm trying to convince you and to tell you that, relax, let's all relax here.
Nedum, you're good friends with Jules. Are you convinced by what he said? Do you believe him?
No, Jules is an excellent liar. I don't know if you've picked up that across the years, but he's an excellent liar. And I think in some ways, like, there will be some level of concern, not necessarily because of, say, what Man City have been doing, because I think as far as 2026 goes, there's been a lot of like critiques about them in first halves versus second halves and so on. But then if that's to be the case, why is the gap not bigger? I think in some ways we kind of need to look at, say, some of the issues that Arsenal have had. And to be fair, playing against Brentford is one of the toughest games in the Premier League as it stands. Their form's been fantastic. But why is the gap not bigger? Considering, like, you know, many of us, fancied them to win the league title and they've been the most consistent side throughout the season. Why does it still feel like there's some sort of a race there?
Are you saying Man City are winning it, basically, Nedum? Is that what you're telling us?
No. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Listen, I want that, but I'm not saying that. But the thing that surprises me the most is the fact that it hasn't been put away just yet. Obviously, you know, there was a point where we thought Arsenal were going to run away with it when City had a dip in form, Villa had a dip in form. But then Arsenal seem to have had a little mini dip themselves, and I think in some ways that will be concerning for them because, as we've seen through the last, say, 20 years or so, they've not managed to get it over the line just yet. I still do fancy them, but it's getting a lot closer than I thought it would have been at this point.
I said in yesterday's show, I think it was yesterday's show, they just keep throwing City a bit of a bone, don't they? Right. And I think that's what Nedum's touching on. They're not 8 points, 9 points clear. I mean, you look at some of the draws. Sunderland, they gave up a 2-1 lead late on. All right, they're a tough side. Sunderland, good side in the Premier League, particularly at home. A lot of physicality. Forest, who have been struggling, well documented, sacked the manager again. There was a draw at the City ground against a struggling team. The defeat at Manchester United, at home to Manchester United. Was it the draw against Liverpool they had? And then the draw at Brentford, which I agree, Brentford are playing some really, really good stuff. But they'd won there the last 4 seasons, Arsenal. And so they're just not stretching that gap out at the moment. And when you don't stretch it out and the other team keep plodding along and winning, as City did the other night against Fulham, you can get a little bit restless in the dressing room. Now, a 4-point gap is still a decent gap. But it's not insurmountable. If you're in that City dressing room and it's 7, 8 and 9 points, you're demoralised. Because you're in that dressing room, you're thinking, you know, Manchester City, that is, we're going to have to win every single game because we're never going to catch 9 points. They're not going to lose 3 or 4. And even if they lose 3 or 4, we're going to win every game, which we know this City side are not going to do. But at 4 points, that's just a little bit different, Stevie.
After the game the other day, after the Brentford game, I was thinking, you know what, could Arsenal actually bottle this? But then 24 hours later, I look at the big picture. It still means City have to win every game. And so that's not going to happen. And so I think maybe it's just a case of Arsenal are not as consistent as they should be for what they have. On paper, they are the best team, there's no question. And for the squad they have. But for some reason, they're kind of 7.5 out of 10 all the time. You know, the best team that wins the Premier League should be at least 8.5, week in and week out, and maybe lose the odd game, or maybe drop the odd point. You can't argue that Arsenal are dropping way too many points. But they're still 4 ahead. And it still means that they have to win. We have to lose. They're going to have to lose at least 3. In my opinion, they're going to have to lose probably at least 4 games between now and the end of the season.
But draws, Stevie, it could be draws.
It could be.
Each other.
So, no, I think, yes, 4 points doesn't look as good as 6 or 9 or whatever it was, but I still think that it really big time is in their hands.
I mean, they're slightly worrying in some of the games, and they are, look, by far the strongest squad, there's no doubt about it. And again, one of the things we talked about with Julian yesterday, which he was equally unworried about, was Jacarez. And it's not just that Jacarez is unconvincing, it's the fact that, again, we discussed this yesterday, even just take this game in isolation against Brentford. Have a good think about how many chances Arsenal created for Jacarez. I can hardly think of one. So it's not that he's missing chances all the time. It's the fact that they're not creating them. In fact, Brentford and Thiago, who's having a great season, they were so much more of a threat. He was so much more of a threat to the Arsenal centre-halves than Jacarez was to the Brentford centre-half. So I think at times they're going to have to figure that out. Julian said it's going to be horses for courses, depending who plays. If it's Gabriel Jesus, whether it's Jacarez, whether it's Kai Havertz, my God, whether it's Mikel Merino up there, who's done as good a job as some of the strikers. But ultimately, Jacarez was brought in as 60 to 70 million, number 9, to score goals. And he's not doing that, and hence Arsenal are not running totally clear at this
I
moment.
think that's a bit of a guise, though.
What?
Julian, it's horses for courses. The fact is, whether it's...
It wouldn't be if he was scoring.
It wouldn't it wouldn't be if he was scoring, but he's not. And the fact is that they don't have a centre-forward that's scoring goals. And whether it's Jesus, whether it's Jacarez, whether it's Havertz, whoever it is, they're not creating chances for whoever the centre-forward is anyway. So, I'm not sure... I don't like the horses for courses, but I don't think it matters who they're playing through the middle, quite frankly, because the goals that they will get will be simple ones, but they won't get that many because Arsenal don't create enough for them.
It's sort of managers.
Let Nedum go because he's absolutely freezing.
It's one second.
It's Friday night.
No, keep him. It's sort of manager speak here because listen, if Jacarez was scoring every game, goal a game, and he was firing them in, then all this horses for courses chat about when they're playing a big physical team, they'll play Jacarez. When they're playing somebody that'll sit deeper, they might play Havertz or Jesus. If Jacarez was scoring every week, it wouldn't matter who they were playing. Exactly. He plays every week.
Shall we see if we can count to 100 in Spanish?
Okay.
Yeah. See?
Nedum, we're going to let you go. We know it's Friday night.
Oh, thank you so much.
We know you're freezing.
Kay, you've always been my favourite. Forget Craig Burley. Kay, you've always been my favourite.
Half a job.
I'm done.
Hey, as usual, half a job, leaving halfway through the show.
I'll do the other half in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. You're getting half pay for this one tonight.
Yeah.
Bye, Nedum. Thank you.
I'll walk off.
If you want more Nedum, you can go and check out the Jules and Nedum show. It's
Hey,
wherever you
they're
get
trying to house Gab. I'm telling you.